Here for example 2, we're going to write an equation when we are given our asymptotes. This is traditionally the most difficult part of your writing an equation, but I guess it's a good thing we're going to go over here. Let's read through the problem. So it says the asymptotes for a vertical hyperbola are y equals 3x and y equals negative 3x. And the vertices are at 0, 2 radical 10 and 0, negative 2 radical 10. Write an equation for the hyperbola. Well, the first thing it tells us is we have a vertical hyperbola. So if we have a vertical hyperbola, that means we're going to follow the equation y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared all over b squared, and that is equal to 1. So we need to find h, k, a, and b. The good news is our vertices actually tell us 3 of those 4 things. So if you look at your vertices, if you want to find your hk, your center is going to be in the middle of your h and k. So we're going to do the midpoint for your between your vertices. So we're going to take 0 plus 0 all divided by 2, comma 2 radical 10 minus 2 radical 10 all divided by 2. So that's going to give you a 0, comma 0. So your h is 0, your k is 0. Now the other thing this tells you is if you are at the 0, 0, your center, and you have to go to 0, 2 radical 10, that means that your a is equal to a 2 radical 10 because the distance from your center to a vertex is your a value. Now your b is not as nice and prevalent here, but what we're going to do is the only other information they give us is going to be your asymptotes. And if you look at your asymptotes, they both kind of follow the form of y equals plus or minus 3x. Well, your formula for an asymptote is y minus k equals plus or minus, and in this case, because you have your y over your a and not your x over your a, you need to say that this is going to be a over b times x minus h. And if you notice, if your h and k are 0, then this is really of the form y equals plus or minus a over b times x. So what we have is, in order to find out what b is, we can say a over b is equal to 3. And how does that help us? Well, we know that our a is actually a 2 radical 10. So if it's a 2 radical 10, we can say this is 3 is equal to a 2 radical 10 all over b. And when we solve this for b by using cross multiplying, right over 1, right, this is a proportion. We can say 3b is equal to a 2 radical 10, and you divide by 3, b is equal to a 2 radical 10 over 3. So there we have all of our values. So to write our equation, what we're going to need to do is we're going to say y minus k, which is 0, squared, all over your a squared, so it's going to be a 2 radical 10 20 squared, and that needs to be a minus, not a plus. X minus 0 20 squared over, you get a 2 radical 10 over 3 20 squared equals 1. That's going to end up giving you a y squared over 40 when you simplify, and an x squared over 40 over 9 is equal to 1. And we don't want to have a fraction within a fraction. So if you were to multiply top and bottom by a 9 over 40, then your final equation that you get is going to be y squared over 40 minus a 9x squared over 40 equals to 1. So that, by far, is going to be the most difficult problem you have, because the the radicals were not a nice pretty number, but it's just not an easy problem anyway.